Hey, good morning everybody. It's Anne Sinclair from Digestive Detective, and today I want to talk to you about how to not get the Christmas weight gain. So one of the problems we have at Christmas time is the overconsumption of food. It just seems to be everywhere, and drink as well. Everywhere we go, people are giving us chocolates or cakes or alcoholic drinks. And we're not as active. You know, we're meeting friends, we're sitting down, we're having conversations, so we're not doing as much activity as we normally would in our daily life. So we all have lots of excuses. You know, we're busy. We're all busy as why we can't eat well over this period as well. So I think that we need to be mindful of that those things can creep in, and that it can be detrimental to us not to be able to do exercise and stuff. So research shows us that over this 4 to 6 holiday period, this will blow your mind, if you're a normal weight, you are likely to gain a total of between 400 grams and 1.5 kilograms if you're not paying attention to what you're eating. So that's pretty complex, isn't it? That can happen so quickly. And if you're already overweight, you are likely to go from anywhere from 2 to 3 kilos of extra weight over this time. And this is huge when it comes to trying to take it off, because you know, everybody who's tried to lose weight knows it's much easier to get off than it was to get on. So we also know that if you keep a food diary, you are better at managing your what you're eating and that sort of thing. But we also know that we underestimate what we eat from about 20 to 40% when we write a food diary. So when we're not writing a food diary, we're actually you know, totally not really being mindful about what we're eating. So some tips to work on into your daily life while you're on holidays. One, overeating. It causes our gut bacteria to suffer, especially with high-fat meals. It changes the composition of bacteria we get. We get more fat-loving bacteria, which is not good all round because it can cause dysbiosis. And then it changes how robust your other bacteria are. So that's always good to remember. Try and get in lots of fruit and veg around the day. So, and alcohol's the next one, and it's a biggie. You know, it's a digestive irritant, so it can cause a whole host of problems to us. It promotes growth of gram-negative bacteria, which cause dysbiosis and can create things like intestinal permeability, which then can go on to give us allergies, bloatings, and inflammatory responses in our liver and other organs we get as well. Alcohol, while it tastes great, it's loaded with empty calories, and we tend to binge drink when we're in a social setting where we haven't seen people for a while. So think about that it has an implication not only on our physical well-being, but also on our mental well-being. Because when we drink a lot of alcohol, we make bad food choices as well. So when you drink alcohol, you always want to reach for the carbs. So the trick is, if you know, those lovely little bread rolls and things like that people have, or if you're out to a restaurant or something. So if you are drinking alcohol, you have to make a choice. If you want to have alcohol, you can't have the bread rolls or the little breadsticks or any of the crackers or anything like that. So just do one or the other, not both. So, and my tip for this is, if you have an alcoholic drink, the next drink, make a glass of water, because that sort of stops you from getting too much alcohol going through your system too quickly. And alcohol also has an anti-diuretic effect, so which means that you know, I think you've been in a social setting where you've been able to have a few drinks and you're not needing to go for a wee. But the minute you go for a wee, then you've got to keep going all the time. So this is because the alcohol breaks down the anti-diuretic hormone in it. And then you'll want to keep going for a wee all the time, and this is what gives you dehydration over the next 12 hours. So always make sure you're having a glass of water in between, and that's really helpful. Alcohol also affects our blood sugar. So don't let somebody refill your glass before it's empty, because then that way you can keep an eye on how much you're actually drinking. You know, so, you know, if somebody's continually topping up, you've sort of got no idea as to where you know, how much you've had or how many you've had, until you actually stand up and It's not very good for you. So the other thing is exercise. You know, we all typically don't exercise as much as we do at Christmas. You know, everybody can think of the Christmas food coma. So my top tip here is to have a walk before lunch. Yes, Brooke, I agree. Sparkling water is fantastic. I think that having a glass of water, you know, as you go through the day, and just add berries or bits of mint or something, lemon to it, is really a good way to keep your water intake up. So getting back to exercise, so try and do a walk before you have lunch. You know, just a short 15-minute walk. You can do one in the morning or you can do one in the afternoon. So if you do it before lunch, it will really help get your digestive juices flowing and make you really want to have the food that you're about to receive. So, and after lunch, rather than laying down on the couch and feeling really sluggish, why don't you do something like have a game of backyard cricket with the kids, or play table tennis, or even turn on the music and do some dancing, because that's a great way to stabilise your blood sugar, and it prevents you from having that afternoon food coma. And look, it feels good that you haven't overeaten and then you're not bloated and you know, just can't do anything, look like the beach whale sort of thing. So that's something to think about with exercise. Food. Now, it's always, if you always make a platter or something like that with cheese and crackers, think about using fruit or vegetables. Vegetables probably with dips is better. Think about using things like asparagus or snow peas or blanched green beans or mushrooms or celery or carrot, or those sorts of things that you can dip into a dip. Dips are much better than cheese, for the fact is you're getting the vegetable thing and you're getting not as much fat as you would when you have the cheese. You know, some cheese is great and I'm all for that, but you know, try and work your vegetable content in. So cheese is often very nutrient dense as well, and we often indulge when we're drinking and talking because we're not focused on what we're actually putting into our mouth. So cheese is a biggie, and it's a big one for me too, Cheryl. I love asparagus as well. It's great for dips. You know, so think about what you're eating and swap out some of the cheese for dips. You know, and there's some great dips that you can either make or buy. Hummus, spinach and pine nuts, or beetroot is one of my favourites, and it's super easy to make. Avocado, you know, as simple as mashing an avocado up and putting some lemon juice, some cracked black pepper. That's a really lovely dip to take anywhere for, you know, the Christmas pre-dinner nibbles. So the other thing that's really important is have a great breakfast. You know, get in your fat, fibre, protein. So this will stabilise your blood sugar through the day. It will stop you from being so hungry. So include things like eggs, spinach, tomato, mushrooms, asparagus. Again, Cheryl, that's for you. Put in some of those sorts of things, some nuts, some porridge and nuts and seeds, or some chia pudding or things like that for breakfast. They will help keep you fuller for longer, and they'll stop you binging on treats through the day. Another recommendation is have some fermented things like fermented carrots or kimchi or sauerkraut or something like that on your table. You know, to get a little bit of fermented product in is really nice to feed your gut bacteria. And again, it stops if you drink too much, it stops the alcohol from being absorbed. You know, it just takes it down a little notch for you. If you're going to have 50,000 drinks, it's probably not going to help. One of the other things that would be really great is to be mindful of what you're eating. Between every mouthful you have, pop your knife and fork down, chew and get that done. And remember, at Christmas, it's always interesting because family can press your buttons. So that's their innate ability. They've practiced their whole lifetime. So some of the good things is don't eat when you're angry or upset with somebody. You know, go to a place where you're by yourself and do some alternate nostril breathing, because it only takes 2 minutes to change your thought pattern from fight or flight to rest and digest. And Hillary Clinton, amazingly, has just talked about this is one of the things that actually got her through the presidential campaign. to stop her from getting overwhelmed and stressed. So alternate nostril breathing like they do in yoga. If you would like to send me an email at ange@digestivedetective.com, I've got a video and a little instruction panel on how to do that. So it's very good to be able to change out of fight and flight and get into rest and digest. So you'll stop from getting indigestion, and just try and be as relaxed as you can be. So remember, this is a day that's to spend with our family and friends. Be kind to yourself. You know, have a slice of pavlova if that's your thing, but then don't have the custard and pudding on top of that. So try and do the balance of one or the other. And most of all, have a Merry Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you soon. So I hope these tips were useful, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks. Bye.